On September 20, 2024, a seniors consultation with MLA Jodie Byram took place at the Yellowhead Manor in Neepawa, organized by Home Assistance Neepawa and District, or HAN, in collaboration with Neepawa Access TV. This forum aimed to provide seniors with a platform to voice their issues, concerns, and recommendations directly to their MLA, as well as to hear about ongoing and future initiatives. Key topics of discussion centered on transportation. A significant concern raised was the lack of public transportation options to other cities, particularly for medical appointments. The recent cessation of an affordable bus service to Winnipeg has left many seniors without reliable transportation. The remaining option, the handy van transit, is currently facing financial challenges, which will limit accessible transportation for the community if not given proper funding. Additionally, accessibility issues related to sidewalks were raised, particularly regarding broken areas that pose safety risks for seniors. The town of Neepawa has acknowledged these concerns and has indicated a commitment to address them. However, officials noted that while planning is underway, there is still significant work to be done, especially concerning budget allocations. Despite a lower turnout at the forum, the concerns shared were valuable, and MLA Byram assured attendees that she would bring these issues to the attention of the Legislative Assembly. This event marks a hopeful step towards fostering ongoing dialogue between seniors and their elected representatives, encouraging future consultations to address their needs effectively.
Afternoon, and thank you for coming out and taking the time to join us on this beautiful last of our summer days. We're pleased to have quite a few dignitaries with us today, and we were hoping for a few more citizens, but maybe some will show up, and we waited 5 minutes, and in all fairness to everybody, I think it's time to get the program underway. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our guest today, Jodie Byram. Jodie is our MLA for the Agassiz constituency, and she has agreed to join us and will be open for questions from whoever is in the audience with us today. I would ask that you consider a couple things. Number one is, Jodie won't have all the answers of all the concerns we have of citizens of any community, because we are under the jurisdictions of federal, provincial, and municipal. So it only makes sense that she can't answer all the questions, but she will do the best she can. And if she can't answer, there may be some dignitaries here from the province or the town, or I guess there's no federal representatives here, but maybe somebody else here could help fill us in. I'd also like to introduce Sherry Francis, Jodie's assistant. Welcome, Sherry. And all the dignitaries that are here today. And I look across, we have an excellent turnout of dignitaries. And I see Mayor Brian Headley smiling. Thank you for coming out, Brian. Beside him is Yvonne Sisley, representing the town as a councillor, but also as the coordinator for our Arts Forward, which is a very active organization within our town, and she does an excellent job of communicating with all the other organizations within our town, and also partnering with a lot of good things that happen here in town. Pleased to have the town staff here. We've got Colin and Jodie and Cassandra. Thank you for coming and taking the time. And behind I see John Pottinger. John is the chairperson of the Handy Van. He's here today. We have Dan Free. He is the chairperson of the Drop-In Center. And for those, I think everybody's familiar with the Drop-In Center, but for those that are not, there are just a lot of activities and things that happen there that relate to the sociability and the well-being of seniors. And of course, our purpose here today is senior consultation, how we can better that And we're so fortunate in town here that we have a lot of organizations that do a lot in order to help our seniors and people with socialization and to keep active. And one of the dignitaries in front of me over on this side is Colin McNerney. He is the spokesperson for our local men's shed, and there again has done an excellent job over the last few years, and is always looking for suggestions and help in getting people to come out and to be part of men's shed. So if I missed anybody, I'm sorry for that, and forgive me, please. With that, I would like to move on with our program. A couple thoughts I'd like to share with you is that I mentioned our guest Jodie won't have all the answers, and we don't expect you to have all the answers. But the other thing is that if you have a question in your mind that you want to bring forth and put out on the floor, don't feel embarrassed or think that your question isn't important. My point is that all questions, when it comes to a consultation and sharing of thoughts and ideas, all questions are important. The only thing I would ask is that we ask our questions and reply in a respectful manner. So please let's be respectful as we go through the afternoon. Okay, I would like to start, Jodie, with some opening remarks from you as our guest today. Thank you.
Or can everybody hear me like this? Do I need the microphone?
Use the mic for the cameras.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lyle, and thank you for taking your time today to be the moderator in this. And thank you, everybody, for joining me here today and joining us and being a part of this consultation. I will start with doing just a little bit of an introduction as to who I am. There's some that may know me, some that maybe don't know me. So I am Jodie Byram, the MLA for Agassiz, newly elected. I don't know if I can still say that, but elected last October, into this role of being an MLA. I'm a lifelong resident here in Neepawa. I've done a few different roles throughout my lifetime. I've raised my family here. I grew up in the area, went to school here. I know sort of the lay of the land, so to speak, not just Neepawa, but much broader than that, the surrounding areas and Agassiz constituency. Many of you might know me in my past role when I worked with the previous MLA, Eileen Clark. I was a constituency assistant at that time, and that role gave me an opportunity to get an inside view of what the political scope really is, or the political world really is. I became really engaged, and I enjoyed that role. And when this opportunity was put forward and she decided to step back, I put my name forward, and I'm honored to represent the constituents here in Agassiz. I will just give you a little brief rundown of some of the roles and responsibilities I have as an MLA, but also in the Legislative Assembly as well. So, like I said, I was elected last October. And once elected, I was appointed to be the critic for Labor and Immigration and Workers' Compensation Board. I am also the Deputy Caucus Chair. That's another role I have in there, and I am on the Regulations and Legislation Committee as well. So having some of those responsibilities, it's adds a little bit more to one's plate, I guess, and so it's a bit of a balancing act between the roles and responsibilities there, and then your constituents as well. And I'm working to continue to work to find that balance. So a lot of meetings in the city, and of course meetings in the constituency as well. When we go back into session, which is going to be October 2nd, we'll be back in Winnipeg and sitting in the House, at which time I have to stay in Winnipeg throughout the week. Schedules in there get pretty busy with, like I said, meetings and sessions. So I have an apartment in there, and I'm home typically on the weekends and busy with constituency meetings, typically events. and that my assistant Sherry, and thank you Sherry for all the work that you do in this area and keeping me on track and on schedule with that. Like I said, fall session is coming up. It's going to get busy with committee meetings, which are typically held in the evenings, and depending on what the issue is or what committee is being called, it sometimes can be very late evenings. And as the minister, or not the minister, the critic, I'm just the critic yet. For labor and immigration, there are a few bills that we held over, so they will be coming into being called to committee in the fall. Being an opposition critic is interesting. It certainly gives you an opportunity to learn about your role as critic. I find you have to do a lot of your own research, which is great. We have staff in Winnipeg that helps us with that. But I'm a little bit more hands-on, and I like to sort of look for my own information and try to find the facts. So I like to know that what I'm speaking to is actually factual, which is good. And also in opposition, there's a few other things we have in our toolbox, such as petitions. I know I have, you've maybe seen a couple different petitions in our Agassiz communities that we have put forward for constituents to sign. We also do private members' resolutions, private members' bills, and different things that we bring forward on our days in the House as well. So learning on some of those policies and processes is what I maybe didn't know going into government, but learning what that's all about as well. On a more local level, as an MLA, we get lots of calls or people coming to the office with issues, concerns that they may have, maybe something that's more of a local issue, or maybe it's something on a personal side of things. And like Lyle mentioned, I don't have all the answers, but I certainly do the best I can to help find an answer, even though it's maybe not the one you want to hear, but quite often that can be the case as well. So that's a role as an MLA locally, is hearing the constituents' concerns and working with different organizations, groups, municipalities, stakeholders. Just to give you an idea, within Agassiz constituency, there's 5 school divisions, 2 health regions, 8 town municipalities, 1 First Nation, and there's about 23 Hutterite colonies. I try to visit most of those organizations or have meetings with most of those organizations or communities, and summertime is that opportunity where you get to sort of get out and visit those areas, whether it be festivals, fairs, parades, whatever events. Not only an opportunity to meet with stakeholders, but constituents on a much more low-key level as well. So that's my summer. It's been spent doing a lot of those local constituency activities and engaging with people at those times. And Agassiz has a lot of great communities, and we have a lot of great things to celebrate. And thank you, Michelle, for putting this on. There she is in the back. I know HAND is another organization in our town of Neepawa that does a lot of work for seniors, and in collaboration with the town of Neepawa to make life better here for our seniors in Neepawa. I do want to mention that our PC government, I think it was back in 2022, we introduced the Senior Strategy Plan, that of which held a few different initiatives in that plan, 2 of which I believe are still relevant now. One is being the hearing aid program, and the other is the home modification, which I believe is a grant that's still available where people can apply for maybe grab bars or different things that make their home more modified for their specific needs. So that's a little bit about what maybe has been offered prior or previous government, and some of those grants that might be available. I believe the town of Neepawa, and they might want to correct me on this, but I think they've just most recently been designated age-friendly. So having that designation also gives the town of Neepawa the ability to apply different grants that might help within the town of Neepawa to assist in making it more age-friendly. So it's an opportunity for more grant money and funding available for some of those changes. So maybe that's enough about me, and if anybody has any questions right now, or we'll hand it back over to Lyle. So a little bit about what I do and where things are at for me right now.
Thank you very much, Jodie. And I too, on behalf of everybody here in our town of Neepawa, express our appreciation to Michelle Kasprick and Leeway Cabrera from NAC TV for organizing this event and putting the details together. And they do an excellent job working together for the betterment of our community too. So thank you for putting on this afternoon. With that, I would like to open the floor. And who would like to be the first person to direct a question to Jodie or someone else if you so desire?
Someone's gotta go
It's not
first.
going to be this easy.
I'll go ahead.
Okay,
Then I can relax the rest of the time.
we're gonna ask you to take the mic if you would, please. I have a hearing deficit and I don't hear very well. So.
I'm actually from Winnipeg. My name is Sonia, and I'm here with my mother Isabel, who resides in Neepawa. And I'm a senior, 69. My mom is 94, and she's still living independently in a 55 plus with support from home care currently, just started. But the concern that I have has to do with travel between Winnipeg, my home, and Neepawa, my mom's home. And basically, I'm her support now, and I'd like to see her stay in the community. And the concern that I have relates to the fact that 2 weeks ago, Friday, the bus service that we had going between Winnipeg and Flin Flon went out of business. And one of the concerns that was related to that was the fact that there was very little notice. Like basically, we heard it on the news about a week prior. And what I want to speak to there too is the fact that the service that was available from Mohican bus lines was excellent. It basically, they stepped up. As initially when Greyhound pulled out, I contacted federal and provincial representatives, and they basically indicated that they were looking for private businesses to step up, and that did happen on some runs. Basically, we had a run between Winnipeg and Flin Flon, which is the one we traveled on, passing through Dauphin, Swan River, the Paw, and then there was a run up to Thompson. Now, other areas weren't so fortunate within Manitoba, and other provinces weren't so fortunate. So we basically lost the ability to travel between provinces to stay connected with families. That's basically gone. But fortunately, my mom and I were able to stay connected with the bus service that was available. And the one thing is it was affordable. Basically, they did not increase the prices. It's comparable to when Greyhound left. My one-way fare as a senior was $36 between Winnipeg and Neepawa. A full fare between Winnipeg and Neepawa was $40, so a 10% discount. To get back to Winnipeg on Tuesday, I now have to basically pay for a round trip. And I'm looking at $100 versus $36. So that means for me that I may not be able to go back and forth as often as I have been to support my mom and also to give her an outing in Winnipeg. Last year we traveled 60 times, over 60 times one way. This year we're up to 40 sometimes one way. And I'd love to be able to continue to do that, but without affordable bus service, I can see that changing, and it'll affect our independence, where we're having to basically look for a ride privately. It'll be more expensive, and that has an impact on our quality of life both ways. So that's just sort of some points. I don't know if you have any questions related to that, but
Thank you, Joanne. We'll give Jodie an opportunity to respond to that question.
Actually, maybe I should just comment. I have reached out to, within Winnipeg, Adrian Sala, the MLA for our area, and also to Leah Gazan federally as well. And I've got an email communication that I'd be happy to forward to you afterwards if you'd be interested in seeing what the exchange has been.
Well, thank you for that question, and this has actually been one of you've been the first to raise this in this area. I've not heard anybody else bring this concern forward, other than on a much maybe broader scope. Transportation is something I've been hearing about, maybe not sort of in the public transport, well, it is public transportation, but in the larger scope, more of a handy transit, more of local transportation. So transportation has come up, but just not on the scale that you have brought forward here today. And of course, I would be quite open to seeing what that correspondence has looked like from your representation in the city. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer for that, but I would be certainly willing to look into something and seeing what resolution they are looking at in terms of transportation in the rural areas.
Yeah, just like one more thing I forgot to mention. What I'm describing for my mom and me is more on a personal level, but I think there's also the medical side of things as well. Basically, transportation from northern to the city, like for medical care, for medical tests, for ongoing consults. And I think that is where this bus route in particular had a role to play. So there's that as well.
Yes, you're right. I understand that part of it as well. And I guess I was just thinking more of a local area as well, but thank you, yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that question. And I'd just like to add a comment to the service that company provided. Our family wound up using it quite often. It was second to none. And if there's anything that comes out of this meeting today, I would hope to see the possibility of the federal, the provincial, the municipal governments and our jurisdictions getting together to see what they can do or work out with this company that provided such an excellent service at a reasonable cost. And maybe it could be expanded if we all work together. So thank you for bringing that to our attention today. Any other questions? What is our next question? What would it be?
No.
Jack.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy Jason here. I'm just wondering, Jodie, what age-friendly, when you say there is supports available and stuff, would that actually encompass something like transportation, i.e. feet transportation on sidewalks? Because more and more seniors are out there walking, and more sidewalks are the pits, really. Is there any relief in that respect that it could be a little easier? Because it's actually quite dangerous in a lot of cases, especially in the winter if they're all broken up. And I'm not sure whether that falls under that scope or not. Maybe you could clarify it, and just to see if there's something we can do, really. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. And what I understand is age-friendly opens up, once you've got that designation, my understanding is it opens it up for grant opportunities, that of which I do think, and I don't know exactly the specifics and the criteria, but I think it opens up for maybe walking trails or making it more accessible. Somebody from the town of Neepawa might be able to speak more specifically on sidewalks or what that granting might look like for the town of Neepawa.
So with the age-friendly grant, we actually just applied for a $10,000 grant for age-friendly. It does not give you grants to fix sidewalks. Transportation and accessibility and social inclusion and programming is part of what that grant is. We are working on, with that grant, we have Handyman involved in it. Hand has partnered with an Arts Forward in the town. We're looking at doing dances and different seniors mornings out. We're also looking at making it more accessible to grocery stores for all seniors. Right now, Co-op has so that seniors in Kinsman Court and any of the assisted living facilities on Tuesdays can get free rides to Co-op for groceries, which is fabulous. But what we heard with council and with different things in the community is the seniors in their homes cannot get that access to it. So part of the grant that we think we stand a very good chance at getting is that we can access the whole entire community. So any seniors can get to the grocery stores. We're gonna have certain days in the month that we can get the seniors to the grocery stores for free. So we are looking at certain things, but I can say that fixing sidewalks is not part of the grant, unfortunately.
Thanks, Yvonne.
Yes, thank you for that, Yvonne. And I think at this point, we were talking about transportation and you mentioned the handyvan. John, could you share a few words with us about the current status of the handyvan and its use? John Pottinger, the chairman of the handyvan board.
Good day. Current status, this is for Joe too. Our ridership since COVID has decreased a lot. Seniors weren't going out. We're not back to those numbers yet. The grocery service is something that Yvonne's brought forward at our last meeting. There is a need out in the community for that. Our funding, our financial, we're not doing great financially, but our funding has been the same since the start. We're still at $30,000 a year for our grant money. So we're looking at seeing an increase, hand-on increase from the provincial government, and they're discussing possibly us getting an increase. But just the way the format's set up, it's very hard to cover our costs. Like by the time we're done, you have to have your audit, which is $3,500, your safety on your vehicles every year, which is definitely a need anyway. And by the time those costs are done, that eats up most of the grant. So basically, it's this ridership. Then if we're not covering costs, we have to start increasing our costs because to cover our contract person that does our handyman. So basically, our board is made up of the town of Neepawa and 3 surrounding municipalities: Linnell, Lansdowne, North Cypress, Langford, and Rosedale. So that's what our board is made up of. So, yeah, ridership is slowly coming back. A lot of people are doing the grocery thing. I think they got a lot of them got used to bringing their groceries in from Co-op or whatever. They don't go out as much as they used to. I think it's taken a long time to get them out and do events again for the seniors. So that's how the handyman's set up. We're looking at, we have a 50-50 draw running right now. Probably this runs across tickets or whatever, just to help us out.
Mention October 15th.
Oh yes, the draw is October 15th and we're doing chili and a fun at the Arts Forwards.
As a fundraiser.
Kind of a fundraising lunch. So try to help out. So we do what we can. It's definitely a service that's used in Neepawa a lot. We do rides like for medical appointments to Brandon, Winnipeg. Cost is it's fairly high, but we're available to do those. So should have transport seniors to whatever we have. And there's times in the hospital phone if they have seniors that need to be taken somewhere that they'll actually reach out to the handyman and we'll look after that. Yeah, and we do a few school pickups for some disabled children. But pick them up in the morning and take them back at night. So the service is definitely there, and with the new hospital coming, it's probably only increased because the hospital's getting further away. So it's definitely a service that's needed in town.
Just because I have a mic in my hand, I wanted to add to that because I've heard you present on this before. One of the things that you're facing that is not included in any of this budgeting is there's no budget for replacement vehicles right now.
No.
And that's something that will inevitably come up.
There is grants available, but usually we have to come up with a 50%. I think there's one federal one, if you qualify, I think it's 30%. And the price of them, like, now they don't even make a minivan, so like you're starting at 150,000 base vehicle. So, yeah, replacement and we do probably need another van. It's capable.
And I just want to add to what John said. So our funding hasn't gone up, and it's 25 years.
Yeah,
Something like
I've
that.
been on for 14, and my dad was on 18 before that.
There
It's
we
never
go.
changed. So.
And John's been to several meetings, and in the meetings, there's been discussion where handy vans in small towns are looking at closing because they cannot afford to operate. But they also know they can't increase the cost of the use of it because our seniors can't afford it. So we're caught between a rock and a hard place with it.
And I was just gonna say, this is something I've heard too. I've been to, like I said, over the summer to a lot of different communities. I've done meal programs at a variety of different places that do wonderful, wonderful meal programs, and talked to a lot of the seniors where this has become an issue, the handy van and the cost of that service. What did come up was some volunteer ride shares. Now again, this might put that responsibility back on the family, but does Neepawa have anything like that, like a volunteer ride service? No, okay. But this is something, 25 years without an increase is, that's a long time with the cost of.
It's changed a lot in 25 years.
Everything has changed in 25 years, so that's something I can certainly take back and work towards. I appreciate your work on the handy van, and I appreciate that service that's here in this town, so, and in many other small communities, but many are faced with, like what Yvonne said, the challenges of funding. So.
Thank you very much, John, and thank you to you and your board for your continued great work that you do providing that handyman service to our community. So on behalf of our community, thank you very much. I'm going to ask Dan Free to come up, if you would. Dan, would you come up and share a few thoughts, words, and some of the possibilities of joining or what events you have going? Dan Free is the chairman of the drop-in center.
Recently retired back in 2015, and all of a sudden became president for the first time in my life. Yeah, so the drop-in center next door is basically a recreational facility for the most part. We are open pretty much 6 days a week, and there's about 4 different games or events that happen there throughout the year. We close over the summer, but we are open starting in September and usually until the end of April. So we have 2 different seasons, before Christmas and the after Christmas season. And there's some organized leagues. We have both floor shuffle and floor curling that are done on those 2 seasons. We are also fortunate to have 4 snooker tables for the pool, different snooker games that are played there. And very active, actually. We've got about 100 members, always looking for more. But we have an annual membership fee of $30, and it's interesting. In the last year or so, we've also started seeing a lot of Minnedosa folks joining us as well. So it's nice to see that we're getting some, increased numbers to our events. We also, I think, have been changing a little bit in terms of our age demographics too. I came out here when I was 58 and jumped into it right away, which was a really young guy to be over there compared to the age of many of the other people that were there. And so in the last few years, we have a fair number of people that are in their early 60s all the way up into their 90s. And so it's a pretty easy kind of physical environment. Both floor shuffle and floor curling are more social than they are physical. So, I encourage everyone to help get the word out. There's still lots of room for more players and more camaraderie that we have every day over there. So we are fortunate. We're self-funded with our membership fees, and we do charge $1 for a game of shuffle or $1 for a game of pool, that type of thing. And so the members are happy to pay those fees, and that allows us to be very financially self-sufficient, including keeping up the place. And we're fortunate to have the rent-free situation. I believe the building was originally built with some private funding as well as some government money for the land. And so, we don't have any cost. We have a $1 a year kind of lease over there, and so that's not going to go away on us. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody has about the drop-in center. We're always looking for new members and people who want to come and have some fun.
Questions for Dad?
Is there an age limit?
Actually, when I got president, I did actually take a look at the whole Constitution, so I knew what I was getting myself into. There really isn't. It's not even a senior center. If you look at the charter, it's adults, anybody aged. I think it did refer to 30 or 35 and older. So we'd love to see more younger adults or younger seniors joining us as well. But,
I'd come for an Xbox.
yeah, that's actually the other thing that we do, by the way, I should mention, is if you're looking for a location for something and it doesn't require a lot of space, we do, sort of have people that come in. We have some Weight Watchers that come in and do their weigh-ins on a regular basis throughout the winter months and stuff like that. And we also have a card room where there's come-and-go cards on a 6-day-a-week basis, mostly in the afternoons during the week, where we're playing 500 or we're playing other games. Canasta, I believe, some groups are playing. So it's not just the three things. There's the cards, and we used to years ago. We did some annual dinners at Christmas time and holiday events. We haven't done that recently, but it's only because we haven't done it, and there's no reason that we couldn't be starting to do it if there was interest in it.
Any other questions for Dad?
If you're over 21, get them up.
Thank you very much, Dad, and on behalf of our community, thank you to you and your board for a job well done. We are very, very proud of our drop-in center here in Neepawa. Okay, I'll open the floor. Anybody else have any questions of Jodie or any conversation that they would like to bring to this time of consultation?
Would it be all right if I asked a question of our citizens here? We've talked about transportation. Are there any other ideas about what the biggest issues facing seniors in this area are? So does anyone want to answer a question rather than ask one?
Jodie's got a response here.
Well, I was just also going to mention, I believe there was a university group here, I believe it was last December, who participated and put forward a presentation. And maybe hearing from that, maybe some of the results that came from that, maybe somebody from the town would want to speak to what some of that was. Was that social was one of it, maybe green space, again, would that have been probably sidewalks, accessibility, some of those things that maybe came up from that as well. And is there, if somebody has something to add to that.
Yeah, well, I'll start it off. I might need Colleen to help me out here a bit, but through the active transportation plan, we've adopted a lot of, now I can't remember the name of that group that came out. Do you remember that?
From the university?
Yeah.
It was the city planning. It was the city planning.
City planning, yeah.
They were students at the university that were, that was part of their programming of analyzing communities. They did Carberry, Mendoza, and Neepawa, and we got a certain group of the division of the students there.
Right, so they came out and they had a presentation. We've adopted some of the things that they came up with through our active transportation plan. Now, our active transportation plan has been approved, and we will be working on it over the next number of years. And, but it's well, it wouldn't be a good meeting if we didn't talk about streets and sidewalks of Neepawa. But, you know, the thing is that over the years, one of the things that I find is I've only been on council 6 years, but one of the things that I've found as I've traveled around the countryside is it doesn't matter whether it's a handyman or which group within a community is, it doesn't matter what community it is, everybody is struggling with funding. Funding is just, is crucial. Now, this past year, we had everyone raved on how wonderful the winter was. It was mild. And for somebody like me, this freeze thaw, right away I knew that this was going to be our worst winter. And it was. Our streets accelerated, deteriorating. And so we do have plans going forward. This year, we spent more money on streets than we ever have. And the streets deteriorated even faster. So money is a problem. We do have plans on fixing things. We will continue to be increasing our budgets as we go forward. But the problem is as I can see it, well, I guess I'll use an example. If we put increased taxes, or if we put it on special levy or that, if we did something about $500 per house, added it on, we would probably generate about $800,000 or $900,000 more. Now, in order to do a street, not everybody agrees with this, but this is the fact. You can pave a street, but then with our 100-year-old infrastructure in there, that's going to be tore up as soon as there's water main break. So in order to do it right, you have to dig out, replace water and sewer, redo the streets, redo the curbs and that, and it costs about upwards of $400,000 to do. So that means that if we increase the taxes on everybody by $500, we could do 2 more blocks in Neepawa. So that shows you the size of the problem. And we're working on each year trying to fix that. But there is a big infrastructure problem in every community in Manitoba. And I probably won't be the one to fix that. So as we look at, we have the, like I said, wonderful transportation plan, but it's going to take years and millions of dollars to be able to put it in place. Not a great answer, but that's the only way I thought.
Thank you. And I want to say this as well. I know at a constituency office, we get calls to, in relation to snow removal. Every year, every winter, snow removal doesn't happen quick enough. I'm sure the town can attest to this as well. And the town does a great job in clearing snow and getting to those roadways and those streets as quickly as they can. And even in the municipalities surrounding the town of Neepawa, the crews do a great job at getting that snow clearing. But we're coming forward to another winter here, so I just want to say they do what they can and in the time that they can. So good job.
Thank you, Jodie. Just thinking as we're gathered here today in consultation, the consultation doesn't have to be things that we're in dire need of or things that can bring up negativity. We in this community also have a lot to be proud of and a lot of user-friendly organizations and events that happen. So if you have something on your mind that you enjoy participating in or enjoy attending, share it with us here today, and maybe the word can spread from here to more members in our community. Now, I'm thinking about mental health in terms of sociability being a #1 issue with senior citizens. Not only seniors, but we're a little more apt to have mental issues maybe at our age because of lack of sociability. If there's no any other questions at the moment from our...
We actually don't have a question. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
I have a question.
bear with us for a moment as she crosses the room. This is a bit of a tangent, but I think a topic that will relate to a lot of seniors as well.
Yeah, because I think hand also caters to persons with disabilities. Because I have a son with hearing impairment. He's deaf, actually, not hearing impaired, deaf, because that's different from hard of hearing. Yeah, so we love Neepawa and we don't want to go out, but one of the problems that we had, the school really helps us with assisting him with sign language because they know how to do that. But outside of that, like accessing other, with the Arts Forward, they're really helping us. Yvonne's helping us, getting a interpreter for him. But outside of that, we don't have any, So it's difficult for him, so it's really difficult. So maybe other deaf kids, I don't know what's the population of the deaf kids here, or deaf adults as well. So, but that's one of the problems that we have. And we don't want to leave people out. Yeah.
So are you looking for, financial or?
Interpreters,
Interpreters, okay, signers.
Signers
Okay.
for deaf people, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Or I would say,
could-
if I can add to
Yeah.
this, or funding for organizations, because we do have, Mrs. DeWitt would be an example. She's who we hire to bring in for Sander. But we're able to do it through our grants, but organizations might not have that ability. So it's funding for organizations to be able to bring in an interpreter.
Somebody, okay.
Yeah. There are very few resources outside of the education system, if I know what we're saying.
So accessibility to,
To the deaf community.
Okay.
When he does swimming lessons, the coaches are really having a hard time because they don't know how to
To sign,
yeah.
to sign,
They
right,
don't know,
okay.
and other services as well.
Okay, thank you for that, but that's just made me think of something totally different as well. Having a program where you can learn sign language, right? But anyways, that's off topic, kind of. Okay, so funding for organizations to help the hearing impaired. Okay.
Just to add to that, so as you said, without the school division, or if it's not involved with the school division, there isn't a lot of resources. One thing people don't realize is when children leave school, so any disabled child, when they are done at 21, all their services are done. They don't have anything. So there does need to be more resources for adults. Disabled adults. We have Touchwood, which is a phenomenal facility and program in our town, but even they are stretched as thin as possible too with funding. There isn't a lot of funding out there, and there's not a lot for families. Families don't understand that it's the education that would go to that as well. So.
Thank you, Yvonne, and that is something I will take back as well.
Thank you for that, Lou. And as I was saying we have a lot of organizations that we can be very proud of here in Neepawa. NACTV is one of them. They are one of the few across Canada independent access TV stations that are operating today. And 40-some years ago when it started, they were from coast to coast. Neepawa is one of the last in our country, so thank you for all the work that NACTV put into serving our community. And Rain and Levi, thank you for being with us. And Levi, thank you for helping organize this event today too, for sure. Yeah. Joanne.
Just to add to that, also the circulation of the Neepawa banner and press, because whenever I come out, I'm always reading it end to end. There's a lot of good information that's there. In fact, I saw the article on handy transit there with respect to what you spoke to today. So there's a lot of good information that's communicated there as well. And just a thought, for seniors having, basically I'm my mom's main support now, there's a lot of programs out there, and I'm just wondering how many seniors are aware of what's out there for them. One program in particular is Rent Assist. Like, how many seniors are aware of that? And Michelle, you play a role in communicating all of these programs, Eric. And that's sort of, I guess, one of the things that I'm wondering about as well, like how many seniors have someone helping them? Like, or like a family member or a friend. And if they have medical issues or if they need someone to speak for them, that's where the kits that, like the Eric kits, have resources in there to speak for them if they don't have someone with them. But it's a matter of, do they have that kit? Do they have that information filled out? Like, there's a big job there for, I think, a lot of seniors that are kind of just on their own. You know, that's just a thought, and on one of these days, I'm gonna be there on my own too.
It comes pretty quickly, I can assure you.
Yeah.
Did you want to call on that?
I do want to again commend Michelle for the delivery of some of the programs. The Lifeline is another one that she delivers, and those Eric kits, I do know how important those are. I used to look after a senior, and that came in very handy at a particular time. And the rent assist, you made reference to that as well. And that is information, and there's another accessibility, right? Are the seniors getting access to some of these programs? And I guess just the information itself. And where can they go to find these? I know there's so many programs available, but everybody's being directed to go online, to go to the website. And many of our seniors today just don't have that as an option. Many don't know how to work a computer, and some maybe don't have a computer to use. But there again, it comes back to where are those supports, and I know Michelle has probably done some of that work for the seniors. And you know, the hearing aid program is another one that I know Michelle has assisted seniors with. So, but again, that's, you know, where do those seniors go to find those resources? And it comes down to the accessibility again as well. I am just going to go back to, and you touched on it just a moment ago, Lyle, the mental health and the wellness of our seniors. And having gone to these communities and sat down through many lunch programs, the importance of sitting together, enjoying a meal, and having these programs accessible to seniors again, and how important that is for not only nutritional value, but also the social component that goes along with that. I have enjoyed every meal, every conversation with these seniors as I sit there. You always learn something new. You can go back and reminisce about something that might bring back fond memories of your own. And just making those programs, I think, meal programs, available to seniors as well. And some of them are declining, and I'm not sure what the rationale is, because I think cost is relatively okay, but getting people involved in some of those programs as well, you know, having family members attend some of those might enable or give access to those seniors to get to those programs too. But again, social component and mental health and the mental wellness of those seniors that are able to engage socially, it's important.
Thank you, Jodie. On that note, I would, a thought crossed my mind that we, as seniors, have a responsibility to look after ourselves, taking into consideration our families, our community, and friends and neighbors. If we don't take some responsibility on our own and come out and find out what's available in our community, how can we as a community provide all the services? And I'm not being negative here, but I'm going to just point out how many of our senior citizens have attended this event today. I have to say, from the bottom of my heart, it's disappointing that we didn't have more seniors from this community, because I know of many that do need assistance in order to help their families, their friends, their neighbors. And where are we? Why aren't we out here today working together to call this up? You have a comment on that, Randy?
Just nodding my head in agreement. and just, you know, maybe I did have a question a little bit, and it unfortunately goes back to transportation again, because I've been percolating on that sidewalk issue, because that's the main mode of transportation in the downtown area for many people on foot and on wheels. Are there any short-term solutions that are available, or is the only solution really to kind of rip out and replace?
Do you want to reply to that, Jim?
And also, I just wanted to mention as well, maybe a lot of people don't know this, the two main thoroughfares, Highway 5 and Mountain Avenue, are both provincial roads. They are not local roads, so we kind of rely on the provincial government to work on those ones.
And we have had calls on both Highway 5, Highway 16, and we have submitted correspondence into the minister for the department of responsible for highways. And and that goes back to, yes, we do get calls on sidewalks here, and in some cases, like you said, there is a shared jurisdiction on some of these roads. Some towns, municipalities have service agreements. But when it comes to the sidewalks, that is not sort of provincial jurisdiction, that is local. And short-term solutions, I don't know what the answer is to that. Patch and repair quickly is not always the solution or the best solution, but short-term, I'm not sure what the answer is to that right now.
Thank you, Jody. Mayor Brian?
As long as we live in Manitoba, we're going to experience freeze thaw every year, and concrete cracks and breaks up and that. So, the best that we can do is, as we're budgeting, we look towards, trying to budget more. But as long as we're in Manitoba, if you go down to Florida, they have wonderful sidewalks. There's a reason for that. But short-term solutions. Yeah, short-term solutions, I don't know of anything besides it just the concrete has to be ripped up and replaced.
Thank you, Brian. Any other comments on conditions of sidewalks, streets, roads?
Mental health program for seniors?
Kathy, please.
Thank you. While we're on sidewalks, I don't mean to, as a negative, the town is doing wonderful work around town. They're doing great things. I'm really impressed with what's being done. What I'm really not impressed with is First Avenue between Bryden and Mill. For years, because there was no activity on the western side of the old Watt parking lot, everybody on that street and further going up and down would use that parking lot as a sidewalk. When it was developed, there was really no consideration given to the fact that all of a sudden now there isn't a sidewalk, and across the road there is either multi-residential or seniors living. And on top of that, instead of extending the sidewalk up the town's boulevard north from the old RCMP building, now we have a whole block of vehicles that park and back out onto First Avenue. And I really think that if it's age-friendly, and we're looking at age-friendly, as far as that goes, family-friendly, the traffic between Mill and Bryden, if you put a counter on there, you'd be absolutely amazed at how much traffic goes down there, because all the semis go down to unload at Giant Tiger. With the advent of the gym that took up half the parking lot on that west side, but there still needs to be parking because there's all the businesses that are in the old Quad, and there is also now 24-hour traffic into the gym. I'm really disappointed, and I have mentioned this before, even when that building was being built, that there should be a place for people to walk. There is nothing. And so to allow all that traffic to park, face in, and all back out on a road that is not as wide as Mountain, and does have traffic, the cars parked on the west side because there's residences there, it's just an accident waiting to happen. And you can move all the little bumpers for that parking lot around for the cars and try and make a sidewalk in the middle of it. But you still have all these vehicles either making U-turns, parking in there, or backing right out into the road. And it's really scary because there's a lot of families use that road, and there's a lot of seniors are with their walkers and everything heading over to Giant Tiger, and it's scary. So my idea of age-friendly, I think this was a blip, and maybe when the developer was developing that section, he should have been asked what kind of business is going to go in there that's going to take a lot of parking, because there isn't parking there. But as it is, it's kind of horrendous. I think it negates the age-friendly thing. Other than that, I am so impressed with what the town is doing around. It's really good. But that is kind of my little bugbear. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Kathy. And did you want to respond to that?
Again, I will say kudos to the town of Neepawa again as well for doing some of the work that they have done. They've got some great walking trails that are completed or near completion in the area, and I think that adds to the beautification of the town and providing accessibility as well. Again, it's sidewalks, and that again falls under the local jurisdiction, but no easy fix on any of that. But again, it sounds like there's a bit of a long-term plan moving forward, and we will work with our local councils on that.
Thank you for the question, Jodie. Does anybody from the town want to respond to that, or Brian? Oh, just
Kathy, you're absolutely right. I'm horrified when I have to walk on that area of First Street. But you know what, I'm thinking this is particularly bad this year because Harris Pharmacy is being, it's being built, and we're blocked off from walking down Mountain Avenue. I go across, whichever way I can, across Salvation Army or across, I try to do that First Street, but it's almost impossible. And I'm walking on that sidewalk where the gym is, like really close to their building. I'm not comfortable with that either, but I think we're gonna have to adapt.
thank you, Velda. Brian?
Yeah, there's a few points there. So yeah, traffic on that street has gotten incredible. Now I'm still a newbie to Neepawa, and I've been here 26 years. But when I came, it was 3,200 people, and now we know that we're well over 6,000 people. So that's put a strain on transportation within the community, and actually that's taking a lot of wear and tear on the roads as well. So as businesses are built within the community, we made sure that there was sidewalk put in by the gym. Now, should that be extended all the way to RCMP? I guess that's something we've never thought about, but I think that it's in the active transportation plan, but I'm not sure. But anyways, there is, we recognize that there is a problem there. The one thing I'm not sure about is I don't know if we have any control over how a parking lot is set up because it's private property. So that part I'm not sure about on how they set up the parking in it. But yeah, certainly we would take a look at that sidewalk. I'm just not sure where you would put a sidewalk over there, but
I don't think you could now.
You should have right of way on width of the street, should you
big
not?
better minds than I will know how to do that.
Straight
So.
with the RCMP building, straight with
And it could be, yes, I'm not sure about that, but certainly certainly at the time, yeah, we were ensuring sidewalk was there for the gymnasium. That was our goal at the start.
Thank you, Brian.
And not to speak on behalf of the town in any way, but I know from attending several town council meetings, that is an area they're looking at right now, as far as marking out where those right-of-ways are, where those back alleys are supposed to be, and sort of mapping out that sort of block. I think that entire block, is that fairly correct? Okay.
I think it's kind of a case of, it should have been done before it was built instead of trying to figure out after that you're
you know,
Yeah.
letting them park on your right away.
Or was it they say the second
Unfortunately,
best
though,
time is
we're into
now?
a situation now where we're going to try and correct it and get things where they need to be. So we're here for positive though, right, Kathy?
Well, we are, and like I say, I hate to say this because I am really impressed with what's going on, and I give the council full kudos. I just think maybe somebody should have taken a little more time to think, where are people gonna walk now that you've taken the parking lot away, you know? That's, and I'm sorry about that.
No,
but
no,
otherwise,
that's totally
it's
okay.
No, that's fine, thank you, Kathy. I'm going to come back to the Sociability Act part of our program a bit and think about the positivity of socialization and what the benefits are to us as seniors and to all the citizens of this community. I would like to ask Colin McNair to come up and say a few words on behalf of Men's Shed. The whole purpose of Men's Shed is sociability and the well-being of seniors. Colin, if you would, please.
Thank you, Lyle. Most of the people in Neepawa now know who Men's Shed is and what we do around town, but our focus is really on, and it was the purpose of Men's Shed in the first place, was mental health of senior men. Just the whole idea, the premise that, you know, if men have problems, they don't go to a coffee shop and sit across from another man and talk about the problem. We discuss our problems when we're working on things shoulder to shoulder. And so that's sort of how Men's Shed got started, and that's what we do in Neepawa. And we do projects around town. And they're all community-funded projects. So we do community projects. We don't do private things for private individuals. It's all community stuff. But really the projects we do are secondary. The men getting together, visiting, and blabber-jabbing, and everybody having a different idea of how we're going to do this project. Usually spins around for a couple of days and then we find a direction to go. We're never short of projects. Every time we think we're going to run out of projects, there's another 3. And then we prioritize them. The only thing we do with our projects is, because it's more socializing, there are no timelines. We won't take on a project that said, we need it in 3 weeks. Don't come to us. You know, we could maybe do it in 3 weeks, but we're gonna, when we meet for 2.5 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we just talk and have coffee for probably an hour. And then we finally think, oh, well, maybe we should make some sawdust, get into the shop and do a few things. Everybody that's in Men's Shed right now comes from a different walk of life. But they're all there for a common purpose. And that's to have something to do with their days, interact with other men, and you know, we're all retired men now, so we're all seniors. But we've just had a request from somebody who's early 20s with you know, some physical difficulties, but he can join Men's Shed. I said, yeah, come on down. You know, we can all learn from each other and help each other, and that's sort of the whole idea of Men's Shed, is we're helping each other. But yeah, it was focused on mental health when it was first started in 1980 in Australia, and has now gone around the world and has been extremely successful. And in the early days in Australia, it was one of the target things was men's loneliness. You may have been widowed or something or lost your job, but it was also to address suicide and mental health, and it's done great things in combating that around the world. Now our group in Neepawa really hasn't grown very much in the last few years. We started in 2019. We haven't grown very much in the last few years. We've got a fabulous facility over at Touchwood, right across from March Forward, beside the Touchwood administration. And it's just, and we get that building for free. They don't charge us any rent. Our rent is when they have projects to do. So if you ever go to the storefront with all the stuff they've got in there, well, that's mostly Men's Shed projects, so that's how we pay rent. They give us a project, we build it, put it in the storefront. Then we get on to our projects, and then they'll come with another project, we'll have to stop and pay rent. But, you know, but that's fine, because the projects are secondary. It's the getting together and just talking. We used to meet from 9:30 to 11:30. We found out we were talking so much, we had to come a half an hour earlier, so that we could keep talking. But it's really nice. We've got a nice balance and a nice blend. And the projects we've done around town have been great. We're proud of them. And they look really good. But it's secondary. It's the getting together and doing all that stuff. It's really good. Lyle's a great question.
Colin, could you explain, you said that men shed, of course, for the benefit of men primarily. But if a lady or a spouse wants to come and visit and check out what is available for their spouse or family member, they're welcome with it.
Sure. Yeah. Anybody's, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, anybody's fine to drop in. And one thing we won't do, if a spouse comes in and wants to check us out and see what we're doing and see if it'll fit their spouse, they have to sell it to their spouse. We won't draw somebody in, and make them want to convince them they need to stay there. All we ask is that you come to 2 meetings. First time you get an introduction, second time, then you really know if you want to join us. But yeah, we won't go out and convince somebody that you need to come down. But if a spouse does want to come down and see what we're doing, you go home and you sell it across the kitchen table, and then we'll see you the next Tuesday. So that's what we do in the community, and it's working out really well for keeping everybody busy.
Thank you very much, Colin, and thank you to you and the members of Men's Shed for all the good work you do in Neepawa, and especially for the mental well-being of senior citizens. Rain.
I had another topic, so I'll let you wrap that up and you have something else to say before we move on to this.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, great. I just wanted to circle back around something we barely glanced off earlier, but I think it's actually really important. We were talking about the filling out of forms online and having no alternative to that, having no paper form, no phone number. I think, and this completely lets the town off, this is totally a provincial and federal thing, so you guys can relax. I'm going to use the example as federal, but this is a provincial issue as well. When the census came out and it was all filled out online, I know way too much about many seniors in my area because they came to me and gave me all of their data to enter because they could not do that. So I think it's really important to be cognizant that we need to have an alternative way or some kind of resource to help with doing these things. Because digital is great, I love it for me, I love it for most people, but it can't be the only way of entering information. I think there was another issue I ran into with someone, I might even know mother, don't call me on the spot, I think to do with vaccinations. And it was very difficult to find a way to deal with the system without having to go online and do some online entries there. So I just kind of wanted to bring up that issue that I think is really important to have alternatives to that means of getting information out there, because that is a barrier to accessing resources for a lot of people, I think.
Thank you, Rain, and I have to agree. We've had, people reach out to our office, seniors, trying to get information. Actually, I just had an individual today reach out with a concern who is seeking assistance through a federal program or provincial program, doesn't matter, but one or the other. But of course, accessing that information is all going to be online. So we will do our best at my level to get that information to her. Whether it means I have to print it out and deliver it, I will do that. But also getting that information input as well. And we can go back to our senior coordinators, but and I am sure they do lots of that helped with those seniors who can't access or input that information as well. But I have to agree there should be other resources available for seniors to get information or to input that information as well. So,
and I've had people express to me specifically that they are feeling excluded because these barriers are being put in place. So it's not even just that they can't do it, it's that they're feeling excluded from the process.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you for that, Rain. Go ahead.
This is more on the medical side of things, but a little bit along that line. I know there's difficulty finding family doctors, even locally. where, like, I'm aware of an individual that has to go to Brandon because he's not currently able to get a family doctor. But there's also the situation where you have a medical need that's immediate, and along the lines that with the way we seem to be operating right now, it's basically by appointment. And for the most part, it does not seem that you can actually make an appointment for an immediate need, like with a family doctor. You basically have to go up to emergency, and that usually means a wait of a few hours. And I'm aware of that personally with my mom, who had an immediate need, and then also a friend of hers who had the same situation. She went up to emergency twice. But along the lines of there's other resources available, like Health Links, and I think Health Links is absolutely wonderful. And now I know there's this Quickly doctor business.
QDoc.
Yeah, QDoc. But even I don't access that. I have accessed Health Links, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. But again, for an older individual, that might not be as easy to do, like to actually make that phone call even to Health Links, and then to sort of go through, what information you need to give and that type of thing. But I guess I'm a little bit concerned about the emergency wait times for an older person, and then especially if it's a situation where you're not feeling well, So I'm just going to put that out there, but it's sort of a concern that I have.
Thank you for the question.
I can't believe we've waited this long for healthcare to come up. Actually, I thought it was going to be number one, and it's at the end of the line. And you're absolutely right. Wait times are up. Healthcare is a big issue, not just locally, but it's across the province, across the nation, and it's multifactorial. I don't know that there's, like Sidewalks, there is no easy fix. QDoc is an option. I've had to use it myself, and it worked for me in my situation, but I understand it doesn't work for everybody, and especially our seniors or those that are requiring emergency care. I know that we've got 2 new hospitals, relatively local, well, one right here in the town of Neepawa, but Portage as well, and we've heard lots of concerns about, staffing and different things on that front as well. But in terms of getting a doctor, I think here in Neepawa, we are lucky with the doctors that we do have, and I think our health services here do a great job delivering the service, and we look forward to that new hospital being open. Emergency care, like I said, I know the wait times are up. I know there's people that drive a distance to come here to Neepawa to seek that emergency care because the wait times might be less in other communities, which puts an influx on our staff here as well. So again, it's multifactorial. It's no easy solution, but.
Thank you, Jodie. Any other comments on healthcare? Are there any other questions of Jodie or any of our guests here at this point in time? Are there any other questions? If not, I would like to ask Michelle to come up and say a few closing words on behalf of and the importance of working with the seniors of our community and the job that she does.
Actually, I'm glad to have this opportunity because as I was listening, there are some things that I want to address, especially since this is going to be on Access Television, or NAC TV rather, for the people that didn't make it here today. So, I hope I can remember everything I was thinking of. In regards to resources for seniors, such as Air Kits, the Lifeline, when you need to apply for the CDCP, the dental program, or the hearing aid program, anything like that, Rent Assist, if there's programs that are online only, and you don't have access to that, that is what I'm here for. I've done that for multiple people. The Rent Assist, I try to tell everybody about that because it's a great program for any age. So that is what the hand office is for, service to seniors. So if you're not sure, if you have a need and you're not sure, don't hesitate to call and ask me, because if I cannot help you, and most usually I can, I will find the person that can help you. And I wanted to say, in regards to the sidewalks and stuff, like, I just want, especially since seniors will be watching this, I just want to say a reminder that, yeah, it's our climate, so we have to deal with that, as does everybody else. But I just urge everyone to be mindful and use your walkers, all the tools that are available for you. So use walkers, use the grippies for your boots when it gets icy, and just be mindful, because really it's kind of Mother Nature that has control for that. So just use the tools available, and we have 2 pharmacies that are so well stocked with all of these items. And again, if you're not sure, phone me and I will get it set up for you, or come see me. Just any questions that you have, use the hand office. It's become quite a popular spot, and I'm very grateful for that. But we look after not only the town of Neepawa, but the surrounding RMs. So feel free to come for information. Yeah, just for anything that you're not sure about or that you need help with. And for mental health as well. We have a lot of programs, you know, for the sociability, but I can also help you access help if you need, or somebody for intake if it's something that, you know, if you need to be seeing a counselor. Like, it's not just for young people. Seniors and disabled people, absolutely everybody deals with mental health, and it needs to be the same to access. If you're struggling with your mental health, it needs to be as easy to access help for that as it is if you are sick, you get sick, you phone the doctor. Well, if you are having trouble with your mental health, you need to be able to access help for that too. So if you're not sure where to go, I can definitely help you go in the right direction. And I'm also always there to listen. I always see my office as a vault. So if it's just that you need somebody to talk to, or a hug, doesn't matter. That's what we're here for as well. Have I missed anything? Oh yeah, well, that's just, we have so many programs. I was actually thinking I might have to ask you to do another one for NACTV, because we've expanded a lot of things at the hand office, and we're continuing a lot of the excellent programs that have been in place, and we're doing a lot of new ones. And I think we really need to reiterate to our community and our area what is available for them. So that'll be something in the future. Is there any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you for a job well done serving our community of Neepawa and surrounding municipalities. Are there any other questions? If not, we're probably getting close to closing our program, but I will repeat. Are there any other questions? Would anybody else like to comment on whatever it may be in your mind today? Jodie, you're smiling. Okay. Well, with that, I think on behalf of HAND and NACTV for organizing this, we say thank you. We thank you, Jodie and Sherry, for joining us here today. And we thank each and every one of you for coming out and spending some time with us. And we hope that somebody will benefit from our time spent here together this afternoon. In the meantime, have a safe trip home. Until next time, stay happy and stay healthy.